Hey everybody, it's Cavill76, and I'm back with a follow-up video to talk about attaching 3-row pouches to 2-row battle belts. What we're looking at today is an HSGI laser cut slim grip belt, and I'm also running a 1.75 inch rigger belt as the inner belt for this system. And then on the pouch side, I've got a 5.56 magazine pouch from Esstac. This is their shorty height, and it still contains 1, 2, 3 rows of webbing. You're also looking at the WT Fix attachment system from Esstac. I did a previous video review on this system, and the short version of that is I didn't find the WTF system effective in a mismatched environment trying to mate a 3-row pouch to a 2-row battle belt. You can go see that video in a lot more detail why. But before I even put these WTF straps on here, I was really facing the more general question of how the heck do you properly secure so that you've got minimal or no movement of pouch, 3 rows of webbing to a 2-row system, or 2 rows of webbing on the battle belt. And the first thing I tried was I just ran one side of the strap all the way through the pouch, no weaving, just literally straight behind all of the rows. And then I did the same thing on the belt. Again, straight through the rows, no weaving, and then just secured it at the bottom. And of course that was a complete fail, no-go, because there was a ton of movement up and down and away from the belt. Of course, because there was no row to secure the strap, and so there was just a ton of play. I then went back and did a little bit of review and tutorials. This is my first time working with the PALS and MOLLE system, and then followed what was seemingly the standard procedure of taking the strap and putting them through the pouch or the attaching item, and then weaving into the first row of what you were attaching to. And that's not what you're looking at right now. You're looking at a modified version. But when I did that, it certainly was better. Certainly better than just running it straight through up and down, but it still wasn't great. I still wasn't happy with it. There was still a meaningful amount of movement. I was still getting a bit of play, just didn't feel secure. And I was kind of scratching my head. This seems really straightforward. Why I shouldn't be having this kind of issue. I tried a couple different things, and again, same result. And after doing a little bit more research, I ran across a video, and a shout out to Gearhead_11B, who put together a quick video on a slightly modified threading technique to get these pretty darn tight up against the belt. The issue is that the video didn't actually go through the complete threading process. It also was fairly darkly lit in the video. It was kind of difficult to really follow. I was able to kind of get the idea from the verbal instruction, and I believe I was successful, and I'm going to show that technique. But a number of folks were in the comment section of that video were asking for a little more illustration, and so I thought I'd put something together to show what I did and hopefully clarify the threading technique. So I'm going to go off and I'm going to remove the WTF system, and I'm going to be replacing it with the Fight Light malice clip from Tactical Tailor. I'm already running that on this pouch, and I'd repurposed that from a dump pouch that's on the back here that is running the WTF system. I'm really happy with in that case. So we'll be back and we'll get this going. So I am back, and you can see that I still have the WT Fix on because I thought it might be easier to illustrate in camera with the lighting the end state on the threading that we're going after. And because of the contrasting color of the WT Fix and its ability to be pulled apart more than the traditional malice clip, I thought I'd just try to show you where we're going. Imagine, starting out with, and we'll show this with the malice clip, all the way through, going into the first row of the pouch, coming out, back in to the first row, or if you want to call it the second row from a complete 1, 2, 3. Right, this is row 2, this is row 2. Back out, in behind on the third row, out, and then into the actual locking clip. All right, I'm going to take this off the rest of the way, and then we'll come back with the malice clip version. So after doing a cut of the threading process in real time with both straps, it became apparent that with the lighting and the maneuvering to show it more clearly on camera versus ease of installation, that it wouldn't be effective. So I'm going to cut between each end state of each step. I believe it'll be clear enough in the video what I had done, and I'll verbally describe it, but you should be able to see the threading as it progresses to its final place. And I'm also going to show that most likely with just one strap, even though, again, you'd want to do both straps, in parallel for ease of illustration. So we've completed the next step where we actually have begun threading. Again, we started from the bottom, straight through, no threading on the belt side. Our first step is to take the tail piece and come through the first row of webbing with the tail. Right? And see that from here. For the next step, we've gone through that first row, come out the bottom of the first row in the pouch, and we've now begun to insert it, and this is really, again, an important step, into that first row of the belt, or what we'll again call kind of row 2 relative to a imagined 3-row system on the belt that matches the 1, 2, 3 physical rows of the pouch. And we'll just insert that in and continue the threading process to the next step. Okay, it's pretty tight now in here, so this is maybe a little tricky to see, but we've gone out of, from the bottom of the second row on the belt, right? So we went through underneath the first row, or second virtual row, first row of the battle belt, out, and then into the last row, or the bottom row of webbing on the pouch. I know that may be tricky to see with this lighting, but you can see it going in, and then we come out to meet up with the lock, right? And I haven't inserted in the lock on purpose, just so you could see the tail end coming out and through here. Obviously, we'd orient it in a way to enter into the locking mechanism here, and then secure it completely. But that's essentially, this is, the one before the last step, right? So this will actually need to go into here, so I just didn't illustrate it going completely in, so that you could see, went from the bottom of the out the back of the second row on the belt, first row real, virtual second row, the 3-row system, into the physical last row of webbing in the pouch and out, and then it would, of course, actually insert into the locking mechanism. And now the final step is complete, right? I've got the belt turned upside down just so that it's more visible. Remember that tail piece before was just, I'd just shown it out here. Now I've put it into the actual mechanism. It appears to be fully seated and locked in there, and so the tabs are there. All right, that's it. Looks probably a little more time consuming on camera, but in real time and not worrying about orientation of the process with a camera and interesting lighting setups, it moves very quickly. And we've got now, both pouches feel great. I know you can't quite feel that here, but we're getting positive insertion, de-insertion. The movement really is happening from the belt flexing because I'm not wearing it. But in any case, these are pretty darn solid, or at least as solid enough in my eyes. And in fact, I'll be putting that to the test here this weekend with some fun time on range and training, and hopefully a follow-up on that as well. So come back, check out some more videos I'll have on the equipment and rig setups. Till then, this is KYWI 76.